Hey, it's Caster, and today we're answering the question why you should check out Chainsaw Man. Maybe you've never heard about it and you want to know what it is. Maybe you've been interested but you really needed something to seal the deal for you. Or maybe you just really want to hear your favorite series get hyped up. Regardless of which one it is, this is the video for you. Don't worry, we've got you covered. What's Chainsaw Man about? Well, devils have been manifesting in the human world. Their strength is determined by how much humans fear the thing that's correlated to that devil. Our main character, Denji, is an independent devil hunter who soon finds himself with the heart of the Chainsaw Devil, and well, things get weird. Now, this is the longest and most in-depth explanation I've given in one of these, and that's because we don't really know what the point of Chainsaw Man is. It's just a wild and wacky time, but it's incredibly fun. This is definitely one of those mangas that's about the journey and not the destination. Tatsuki Fujimoto is a genius mangaka, but he's also an absolute weirdo. And that's what makes Chainsaw Man so wonderful. Currently, we have a single season with 12 episodes and 153 chapters in the manga, but the next season and a movie are currently in production. So, it's bite-sized enough to consume in a session or two, but it's so interesting, I guarantee you'll be begging for more. So without further ado, let's talk about why you should check out Chainsaw Man. The art. Now, the art for Chainsaw Man is a difficult one. The animation is solid and the wildness lends itself to the chaotic nature of Chainsaw Man. But I definitely wish it would have gotten the JJK treatment in truth. While the manga's art is great itself, the chaotic nature leads to some absolutely insane panels that may occasionally require in-depth analysis to understand what's actually going on. Now, at first glance, this might not sound great, but there's another element that makes this absolute chaos work incredibly well: the art direction. I'm not exactly sure how to explain it, but the art direction, the tones, the style, it works incredibly well to create some of the most insane scenes in the medium. Truthfully, my all-time favorite panels and sequences are in Chainsaw Man. The Tarantino-esque style lends itself perfectly. The fight choreography also significantly benefits from this because of the chaotic nature. It's just so different from the uniformity that permeates the medium. It's like watching backyard UFC, just wild swinging and haphazard combat that blends into this beautiful display despite being so different from what we've grown accustomed to. And despite the shortcomings and the things that I would change, I have to give Chainsaw Man an 8.5 out of 10 for art because the insanity of the art when it counts and the overall artistic direction, it's just so potent. To me, this is cinema. Story and world building. Now, like I said earlier, the story doesn't have the most clear direction. I mean, we have overarching goals, but the how and the why are still up for grabs. But that definitely doesn't mean that the story isn't interesting. The things that happen are not only incredibly tense and often painful, but they're so exciting and adrenaline fueled, it's like watching someone try to sprint through a minefield. I just find myself on the edge of my seat constantly. I don't want to say Chainsaw Man is something you can turn your brain off for. It's just so bombastic and violent and degenerate. It's like an insane weekend at Vegas. It's incredibly freaking fun. Despite being a shonen, the themes in Chainsaw Man are incredibly adult. And honestly, that's always refreshingly welcomed within the medium. The world building is interesting as well. It's based on early 2000s Japan, so there's a base that makes sense, but when you add in the wackiness Fujimoto brings to the table, it goes from some retro modern nostalgia to some absurdist alternate timeline that's totally plausible. If, like, devils invaded our world. For story, I'm gonna have to give Chainsaw Man an 8 out of 10. Fast and loose is great, but sometimes it's nice to have a little bit more insight as a reader. All that being said though, it's peak. Characters. Here comes the bloodsport in the comment sections. I personally believe that Chainsaw Man has one of the best casts of characters in modern manga. I would say top 5 for sure. Chainsaw Man follows the 3-person group formula for its main characters, but they're so strong and distinct that they each shine incredibly bright. Strong personalities and a range of motivations from noble to simple to absolutely absurd. The cast of Chainsaw Man is among the best. Fujimoto does away with the cookie cutter formula and turns tropes on their heads to create some absolutely wild characters. Even the supporting characters range from super cool to just bizarre, but everyone perfectly fits in this twisted world. Among main characters, Denji is so unique. I've carried mixed feelings about him for 153 chapters, but one thing is for certain, I absolutely love the guy, and he will definitely end up in the main character Hall of Fame. For characters in Chainsaw Man, I have to lock it in as a 10 out of 10. Power system. The power system in Chainsaw Man is pretty simple. Devils, some become people, devil people, making them weapon people. That was a lot. Anyway, some people simply form contracts with the devils, giving them abilities or allowing them to summon devils. So maybe it's not so simple, but it allows for a diverse enough cast despite a level of homogeny due to the innate nature of the power system. I mean, there's a guy who absorbs lifespans by touching them, and a man who obviously turns into chainsaws. So things can definitely get weird, but that seems to be a running theme of Chainsaw Man. Weirdness. And honestly, I love it. I don't want to go too deep on power system because I don't want to spoil anything. We do see some weird, wild stuff similar to domain expansions and just really cool and interesting stuff. For power system in Chainsaw Man, I'm just going to have to give it an 8.5 out of 10, and you've got to trust me. So, all 4 of these points total out Chainsaw Man to an 8.75 out of 10, which is plenty high. But I have to say, despite the scoring, Chainsaw Man has skyrocketed to my top 10 and sits pretty solidly amongst my top 5 currently. It's an incredible piece of fiction that's just so distinct in its own right, it supersedes the bounds of what's conventionally good. Like I said, the score is still high, but I'm hoping you can put it aside and check out Chainsaw Man if you haven't, because it truly is a wild and wacky ride that's fully worth your time. As usual, leave a like if you liked the video, comment and let me know if I've swayed you, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, because next time we answer the question why you should check out JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.